Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Friday. Woo! It has been a week. TGIF. Who did I miss? Hello, Joy K. I was chatting with Elaine. Shandy's in the house. Shonda said, I love it when I'm able to catch the lives. Me too. Well, I'm going to put the members link up because we have a live tomorrow for members that you don't want to miss. We got a lot going on and a lot to discuss. Hello, Mama Bear. Hello, Mama Bear. I want to thank, hello, Dolores, TGIF, True Crime Beat. Hello, Extra. I want to thank everybody for, and if you missed it yesterday, please go watch it, for being in chat yesterday, supporting the family of Michael Vaughn. It was a very emotional and powerful show. Very. And it was very hard to get through. I mean, it was very hard to get through because what this family is going through is just beyond. Sassy said, long week. Good morning, where's Summer? Good morning. So let's get to it. Let's take a second and tell everybody TGIF. Hola. And Snazzy just made it in the house. So how's it going? What are your weekend plans? Damien, where have you been? Where have you been? And I don't know if you saw the community tab yesterday. I think it was just for members, where I told everybody that I sent out 2 packages for Michael Vaughn's family, you know, stuff for the older kids, a little gift for Buggy. You know, once a month, I just try to send them some love. If it just puts a smile on their face for a minute, then it's worth it. So a lot of you have been sending me pictures about what you did for Michael Vaughn yesterday. This is from Brandi Vaughn. Is that not beautiful? And I love that wreath on her door. She put a blue light out for Monkey yesterday. Yesterday was 2 years since he was abducted. True Crime Beat put a blue ribbon around her post. Gaelic Girl lit a candle and made this, Bring Monkey Home. Walking Dead, who is obviously a very good artist, drew a picture of a monkey. Michael Vaughn, you will come home. Horrible, horrible what happened to them. So we have several things to get through. And as people come in, these weekend review shows sometimes are a little confusing because people come in and say, oh, I thought we were talking about this or that. So if we can just nicely catch people up and say, oh, well, we already talked about that, or we're on to this. So besides the heat, we have some true crime to talk about. We're going to start with Michael Vaughn. Yesterday was 2 years since he went missing. And I don't like to say missing because he was abducted. As we said on the show yesterday, TGIF, Zach, as we said on the show yesterday, the investigators have turned the whole file over to the district attorney's office. And so now they're going to have to put together the case, figure out if they have enough probable cause, and go from there. And if not, they have to find more. They're going to have to find more. But it's coming down the pike for sure.
Today marks 2 years since 5-year-old Michael Monkey Vaughn went missing from his home in Fruitland. Fruitland Police Department said today on Facebook they have submitted a case to the Fayette County prosecutor. In this case, a prosecutor would review a probable cause affidavit and decide whether or not to take the case before a judge. If there's enough evidence, a judge can issue an arrest warrant. We don't know what's in that affidavit, though. On July 27th of 2021, Michael Vaughn was reported missing from his front yard. He hasn't been seen since. Police later announced 4 suspects they believe know something about his disappearance. The Fruitland Police Department has also searched the home and excavated the backyard of a neighbor after a specialty trained dog hinted at human remains. However, none were found. Michael's mom issued a statement today.
Now, this is a little deceiving, and I'm not picking on the reporter, the news anchor. They did excavate. They have done a lot of investigation, and they have reason to believe that at one time, Michael was buried in the backyard of the Wanderers. Sadly, that's not enough to go and pick him up. They have to have more than that. Well, they're already in jail, but to charge them in connection with Monkey.
Brandi Neal said, "It has been very hard for us this past month. Everything feels like the day Monkey went missing all over again. It's so hard every day, but for days like these, birthdays, Halloween, Christmas, everything without Michael here is heartache. We stand strong with law enforcement, the community, and family."
Now, this is a very powerful statement Brandi made. It's been very hard for us this past month. Now, in the past month was Michael's birthday as well. Everything feels like the day Monkey went missing all over again. It's so hard every day, but for days like these, birthdays, Halloween, Christmas, everything without Michael here is heartache. We stand strong with law enforcement, the community, and family. They trust the law enforcement. And they've been working tirelessly.
If you have any information about Michael's whereabouts, you're asked to contact the Fruitland Police Department.
Okay, straight from the horse's mouth, Brandi came on panel yesterday, spoke about Monkey, spoke about their other children, how they're, trying to keep it together. And she addressed the suspects. Also, our friend Tiffany came up and prayed with her, and I don't think there was a dry eye in the house.
He's supposed to be starting the 2nd grade. He had only been 5 years old for 33 days before he went missing. 33 days. Not just a month. His brother still hasn't cut his hair. Bubba still hasn't cut his hair.
Why is he growing his hair?
Because the week that Michael went missing, they both had scheduled haircuts that Thursday.
He doesn't want to go back without his brother.
Blue even said she would trim it for him and everything. I've said I'd trim it for him. He has really thick hair.
It is. And it's so long. It's so long and swoopy over his eyes. He's kind of got that Justin Bieber swoop, but longer.
Oh, don't say that to him. Monkey turned 7 last month. But I don't know.
Did you get the birthstone necklace we sent you?
Yes, I have it. I I only wear it on special occasions. I'm going to wear it tonight to work, and I'm going to trade it out for my, I don't know, maybe I'll just wear it. Maybe I'll tape it to the back of my neck or something. But I have my monkey that holds the blue heart, and then I have my moon and stars with the blue moon on the side, and then the heart is my birthstone, which is aquamarine. And it's pretty blue. And then my mom got this for me when I had Michael. And I've never taken it off. Well, I took it off, and I lose it all the time because Dougie likes to take it. Or I take it off to keep it safe because I don't want to choke to death when I go to sleep.
I always had a hard time wearing jewelry around my children. They would yank off necklaces, almost tore my earlobe off one time.
Yeah, I learned that, very, very, very small hoops. That's why those, and then, yeah, all the rest of them are cemented in, I guess you could say. They all taught me good lessons.
And yeah, mine gave me a couple of fat lips and bloody noses a time or two, like, deciding to jump when you're trying to put their pants on. And their big
Monkey
noggins
gave
just
Tyler
like,
2 black eyes, and Buggy knocked out 2 of Tyler's teeth.
Oh.
So there's that.
Brandi, I have a question for you that maybe for you to give some insight to everyone that's listening. Brooks and I have had lots of words and lots of things to say and going over the case, and maybe this will be a way to kind of close this out too. We've been saying things to the suspects and people who may have knowledge of where your baby's at and what happened, but what do you and Tyler have to say to anyone that might have knowledge of where Michael is at this time, 2 years later?
How dare you? How dare you let us sit here and suffer every day? And to let Michael suffer, not to be with us, to be with his family, to be where he's loved. To not step forward and own your truth. You're cowards. And I pinky promise. I won't stop. We won't stop. Our family, our community, law enforcement. The truth is coming. And you know it. I won't give up. I will never give up. Michael is coming home. I have said that from day one, and I will say it till my last breath. And I will make sure that Michael gets the justice he deserves.
The truth is coming. You see, true investigators, not people on YouTube and Twitter, have been working their asses off to put this case together. The truth is coming. So all of the BS that Brandon's been pulling, Stacy and Sarah can't do too much because they're in the clink. Adrian trying to look innocent. We don't know about Caesar. But to hear this mother who is broken say, I'm not stopping. I'm not giving up. I will never stop. Well, if I was Brandon and Adrian, I'd walk into Fruitland PD right now and just start talking. She went on to say, I hope they're looking over their shoulders all the time. Because she's not going to stop. Who in here would stop looking for their missing child? Even if you've been told by police, look, we don't believe your child is alive. Who would stop? I know none of you would. Hello, Christina. I know none of you would. It was a heartbreaking show. And moving on to another case that is also extremely heartbreaking is the case of Gannon. Now, I'm not talking about anything post-trial. His father was on Law and Crime the other night. And as you know, some horrible things happened after the wake of Letitia's guilty verdict. And some creators got a hold of the case file, and they were putting out pictures of his autopsy. I don't know who would want to look at them. And it's not just Zav, and it's not just Natasha Cooper. There's actually others, but for some reason they seem to be forgiven. The other two, their names are mud. I think it's ridiculous. This put Gannon's father into a world of hurt all over again. All over again. Let me ask you guys something. If I said, hey, Pi Lin, I've got the actual autopsy pictures. You're even going to get to see his privates. Would you be like, no? I couldn't imagine. And when I saw the comments about his naked body, and how people were picking it apart, I'm like, he was brutalized by this monster. Why would you put Al in a deeper hell than he's already living in? Slim said, we'd have to have a talk. Oh, I know you all would. You guys save my asses all the time. You're like, hey, Brooks, that's actually not true. Lana said, I would question your integrity and ask why you're bringing this to me. Because I wouldn't do it. No way. And I question people that would sit there and look at it and make comments.
Love you.
Gannon Stauch telling his father he loves him. It's a cherished memory that brings some comfort following the conviction of Gannon's stepmother for his murder. We talk with Gannon's father, Al Stauch, about Gannon, the trial, and the recent release of autopsy photos of the little boy by a YouTuber. I'm Anjanette Levy. Welcome to Law and Crime Sidebar Podcast. A little more than 2 months ago, 39-year-old Letitia Stauch was found guilty and sentenced to life in prison for the murder of her 11-year-old stepson, Gannon. Before the trial, Letitia Stauch admitted to murdering Gannon, but she pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity. The jury did not believe she was insane and found her guilty on all counts. Letitia Stauch attacked Gannon on January 27, 2020 in El Paso County, Colorado, where they lived, for no reason at all. Investigators found Gannon's blood on his mattress and the walls of his bedroom. Once Gannon was reported missing, Letitia Stauch acted suspiciously and told several different stories about what happened to her stepson. Letitia Stauch rented a van a month after Gannon was reported missing and drove with her daughter to Florida's Panhandle.
Now let's talk about different stories. Anytime that suspects in a crime, and I'm just going to throw some names out there. We talked about Brandon Shirtliff yesterday. In the case of Michael Vaughn, his story has changed. Candace Wells, she knows how to spin a tale. Megan Boswell, she had a lot of stories to tell. Teardrop, Well, he didn't really say anything. He knew exactly how to deal with the police. And then there's Letitia. Leilani Simon. When the suspects in a case have different stories, my red flag factory runs out of material.
6 weeks after the trip to Florida, Gannon Stauch's body was found stuffed in a suitcase under a bridge. Letitia Stauch's daughter didn't ask questions, but testified at the trial that she had a feeling that Gannon's body was in the back of the van.
Did you ever ask your mom, what are we doing? Why are we leaving? Gannon's missing. Why aren't we out looking for him? That kind of stuff.
No, I didn't really question her a lot.
Why didn't you question your mom?
I would be told that, like I'm being like disrespectful or like talking back.
And what would happen if you were being disrespectful or talking back to your mom?
Sometimes she would like backhand me
Where would she backhand you at?
to my face.
Is that why you just didn't say anything and you sat in the van and went wherever she was driving?
Yes.
Gannon's father, Al Stauch, worked with law enforcement, spending hours on the phone with his then wife, trying to get her to tell him what really happened.
I want you to know that no matter what, we can work through this together, and I can help you, okay? But you just gotta let me help you. But I have you told me to be straight up. I got a very straight up question, okay? Are you ready?
Yeah.
Did you kill Gannon? I need to know. I need you to answer me yes or no right now.
I killed Gannon.
Did
The
you?
answer is no. I can't believe you asked me this.
Woo! She's so offended. It'd be nice if another father in another case that we talk about quite a bit, Summer Wells, would work directly with the FBI and get Candace on the phone and record her reactions. Because they weren't looking for a straight answer. They were looking for her reactions. Listen to her. Did you kill Gannon? No! That's how my cat talks to me. No! Did you kill Gannon? No! How dare you? How dare you? I love when the suspects are offended. No!
As I said before, Letitia was sentenced to life in prison for the horrendous crime. But the saddest part of all is that an innocent 11-year-old boy was brutally taken from this world far too soon. And the rest of Gannon's family had to believe that Gannon was just missing when really he had already been killed by his stepmother. The family's grief has been recently compounded after a YouTuber named Zavgirl posted Gannon's autopsy photos on Patreon and charged people $3 to view them. Patreon disabled Zavgirl's account after hearing from an outraged public. Zavgirl tried to justify her actions by saying the photos provided scientific value. She later posted an apology online after the issue received attention from the media and after so many people became angry by the senseless posting of the photos.
None of these YouTubers are scientists. I hate to let anyone down. They're not, okay? They're not scientists. Now, I totally understand getting the autopsy photos if you are a scientist. If you're a professor and you're teaching students about autopsies, so on and so forth. But no, some of these comments were so disgusting and disgraceful. I was literally sick.
Joining me to discuss Gannon Stauch and the things that have been going on in the aftermath of the murder case is his father, Al Stauch. I'm sure if you followed the trial, you heard his voice on many recordings. So Al, thank you for coming on Sidebar with us. We appreciate it.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Al, first of all, I just want to start with offering, our condolences to you. This case is what happened to Gannon is beyond the pale. How are you guys doing? I know it's been a few years now. We've had some months pass since the trial. How are you and your family doing?
Well, it is kind of like we're starting the grief process all over. We did kind of stay at a high level of stress, I guess you can say, for the 3 years leading up to the case, and then after the case, I just kind of feel like, honestly, like I'm in a million pieces on the inside again, and I thought I was in a good place, healing and all that, but it just kind of reopened all of that, and just dealing with it and working through it. So
During the trial, we heard you on the recordings.
Think about that. So the trial is over. So they're not talking to prosecutors anymore. She's in jail forever. So he's like, we have to start the grieving process over again. Not to tell tales out of school, but I had a conversation with Brandi yesterday, Michael Vaughn's mother, as you know. And I said, are you ready for this next stage? Because the DA has the file. And she took a deep breath and she said, I have to be. Because they know when they go into that courtroom, whenever it happens, they're going to hear horrible, horrible things. So they were trying to put everything back together in their lives. And then they find out that his autopsy pictures are out, and people were putting comments in there saying, why does his peen look like a burnt marshmallow? It's disgusting. What the hell's wrong with these people?
With your ex-wife. And I just can't imagine what that was like at the time to have to go through that. But I know that you wanted to get answers for yourself and Gannon's mom and for Gannon. How painful was that to have to go through that process back when the search for him was going on?
Oh, it was brutal. The hardest part was not really the act itself, but not really being able to talk to too many people about it, because it was kind of, I don't want to say a secret. I mean, I think a few of my family members knew about it, but unfortunately, it was very hard to know who to trust and how much to trust them early on. And, having to go through all that behind closed doors, I just kind of had to internalize it and, kind of try to deal with everything else as much as possible and not talk through that stuff, with the counselor or with too many people. I had my uncle and my mom I was able to talk with, but yeah, that was tough.
I know this is compounded, or at least I would think it would be compounded if I put myself in your shoes, because this was somebody, Letitia was your wife at the time. This is somebody that you loved enough to marry and you trusted her. And this is the ultimate act. I can't think of a bigger betrayal than this.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you hit it on the head. There's not too much. I hesitate to say it can't get any worse because, things can always get worse. But yeah, for someone you love and trust with your children, I was gone. I wasn't gone for a long period of time. It was only supposed to be 2 weeks for some training. And day one of that, your son gets murdered. I mean, that and how it all began, the world knows the story now, that it began as a runaway missing child and the stress of that. And then, yeah, it obviously compounds it to be lied to repeatedly over and over, as you heard on the phone calls. But leading up to all that, before she left, yeah, that made things a million times worse. Once again, I already said after your first question, I didn't know who to trust or what to trust in those early days. So
I look at the pictures of Gannon, the photographs, and I just see this sweet little boy. Do you mind telling us a little bit about him?
Yeah, I mean, that's it. He was just a sweet little boy. Everything you want your 11-year-old boy to be. Yeah, made mistakes and had his faults, but just a loving kid, loved his friends. one of the most impactful things on the positive side from this trial is once he was gone and we realized he wasn't coming home, the letters and comments and stories that started pouring in from classmates and friends and teachers of his, of things I never knew about him, how much of a helper he was in class. Kids that were struggling with their computer coding, he would do his really fast, get it right, and then go start helping other kids. Math class was the same way. Just a loving kid, and just the relationship. One of the hardest things I know for me, but I can't imagine his little sister, just that relationship they had. As many siblings do, kind of a love-hate relationship, but just the fact that is gone and she'll never have that again. How it has impacted her, it impacted me from a parent's perspective, that's she'll never have that again. So, but just an awesome kid.
In the last couple of weeks, there was a person on YouTube who obtained the case file of Gannon's murder. I want to let you know we obtained that as well, only because we always request those items. We were shocked to receive the autopsy photos, but we would never post those or air those. How did you find out that this person had not only posted the photos of his autopsy, but that she was charging people to view them?
So all along, there have been what I consider to be negative things on social media, slanderous things on social media about myself and Gannon's mother. For the past 3.5 years, we've been dealing with that. And I early on decided I was going to completely distance myself from social media. And I'm still in that mode. So I have people that surround me that things that are relevant that I need to know or that are important that we need to pass along to the authorities.
I sent him an email. When I found out about it. And I'm sure he was flooded with them. I just thought as a parent, I would want to know. Now, if you followed the case of Gannon, you would remember that on social media, he got a lot of flack for not being on social media. It's too harmful. It's too damaging. Just like in the case of Michael Vaughn. People go after Tyler and say, why is he not on social media? Because he can't handle what people are saying about his son. They're already in hell. They're living a nightmare. Why would they put themselves out there? If you have the FBI and all these other agencies working on the case, why do you need to be on social media? They're like, oh, to advocate for your child. Well, who in Bangor, Maine's going to help you with your missing child?
They will let me know, or they'll just say, hey, I have something I'm going to pass along, just so you know. So that's this. In this instance, I found out from my family. One of my family members is pretty avid social media, and he saw it. Well, a few of them actually, and the information kind of met in the middle. So, I got that from them, and yeah, obviously that was pretty disgusting. So
there was a lot of backlash. People were outraged by her doing that, by even sharing the photos, let alone charging people to see them. They were taken down by Patreon. They said they disabled her account. She then later, I guess, apologized. Has she reached out to you to try to personally apologize, or was this just some sort of post that she put on the internet?
As far as I know, it's just a post on the internet. Nobody has reached out to me personally, whether her on her behalf. I'm not really sitting here waiting on an apology, though. The act is done, and if you are able to think through it that much to come to the conclusion to apologize, you probably should have thought through it before you did something like that. I will say, and I said this before, I believe in the Freedom of Information Act and outlets being able to have access to information. I also believe that once you get that information, you do have a responsibility to handle that information appropriately. So that's where I stand on it. And as I said before, I don't know if legal action is the right thing. I think call it a pressure campaign on this person and others who chose to use that photos unwisely. I think that has done the job in this instance. And, she's been shut down by Patreon, and the good people out there have let her know that this was a despicable and evil act.
You mentioned you didn't know if legal action was the appropriate, avenue, but have you thought about that at all? Some type of lawsuit or something to that effect? And I was surprised even that, obviously I'm a big supporter of the Freedom of Information Act. I'm, a journalist, but we request things all the time. And I don't believe I've ever received autopsy photos. Many times those items are not released. They'll be placed under seal.
Yeah. Once again,
Okay, I'm so glad she brought this up, because Plunder, she does Freedom of Information Acts. You guys know I don't. Not because I'm a cheapskate, because I believe if it's for public consumption, it would already be out there. From what I'm understanding, he's going to sue. That's my understanding. How it goes, I don't know. Plunder got the case file, and the autopsy photos were not in there. Well, a couple of you did some digging around. You have to specifically request these. Okay? I appreciate those of you that made the phone calls. I really do. So it wasn't like they just showed up in her mailbox. From what a couple of you were told, you have to request those, and you have to give a reason for them. So, like I said, if it's for science, okay, but she's not a scientist.
I think the burden is, let me back up. The what is released from the authorities on a FOIA type request, I think that is out of the realm of what I should be worried about right here. But information that is released, you do have not you, but the general person or the general outlet, you have a responsibility to handle that information appropriately. And, it just so happens in this instance, it's my son. And so, yeah, it hurts. And it stings to know that not only his full body photos have been put out there like that, but then that people have furthered the nonsense by, I've heard there's been numerous, nasty and negative comments about whatever about his body. I don't know exactly what they are, but I know they're out there. And that just makes it worse. Like, the boy was brutally murdered. Why do we have to continue to? He did nothing wrong. We just leave him alone. You want to come after me? Fine. I can deal with it. But as far as Gannon is concerned, just leave him alone and just honor his life.
How would you like people to honor his life?
I think by the overwhelming majority of people, I'd say 98, 99% have just, been part of, I've heard it's called Gannon's Army, and, seeking justice for him. I want to give absolute credit to the district attorney and his entire team, to include the sheriff and FBI and everybody that was involved. They honored Gannon with all their hearts. And I can say that because knowing some of these people personally now, they put their all into this because it was such a despicable act. I think anyone who has a heart, or who is a parent or has a sibling, felt connected to this somehow. And, but the general public, I am overwhelmingly pleased with the support and how people are honoring him. with all the shirts and the stickers and just the kind words. I think that's how you do it. We keep the positivity and the kindness flowing and let that overwhelm these few isolated negative acts.
And where do you go from here? You said, the grieving process has started all over. Are you speaking to somebody? Are you getting maybe some grief counseling or anything like that?
Yeah, I am. I will share this. When everything first started, I found a good counselor, a great counselor actually, and I was about twice a week, in with her. And now I do it more as needed as I've learned to cope and some different ways to grieve this loss. But yeah, like I said, after that, after the judge rendered his sentence on Tisha, everything kind of started over. So, things were going through that 6 weeks or whatever of the trial. It broke us into a million pieces again. It didn't break our spirits. I don't think we're ever going to be broken. We're going to continue fighting through this, but it put us back to day one. And, I got a great supporting cast. My wife, she's also had a loss similar to mine. And so she understands. And so we're just lifelong grief partners. And, got a great family. We got 6 kids running around the house, and we can't stop. So just got to keep going.
6, you've got a house full.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy. Yeah, you get your hands full. Well, Al, I'm so happy that you came on to talk with us. Again, such a lovely little boy. I know I've only seen photographs. Gannon was a lovely child. I can tell, this beautiful smile. So is there anything else you'd like to add?
Just about Gannon, I think what he would say if his words could be known right now is the same thing I said. Let's just be kind. Let's fight through this together. It's a horrible thing. And, I think he would say how much he loved us. That's one of the videos I look at of him all the time, just a little 2 or 3 second little clip. And it just saying, he's brushing his hair and he says, "I love you." And I play that over and over again because that kind of sums him up right there.
That's so sweet. Well, Al Stauch, thank you so much. We really appreciate you coming on to talk with us. And we'll encourage everybody to honor Gannon and to continue to do things that are positive in his memory.
Horrible. Horrible. It's bad enough what Letitia did, and we know what Letitia did. She killed him in Colorado. They found his body in a suitcase in Pace, Florida. She was arrested in South Carolina. She went crazy going through Kansas, got out of her cuffs, and beat a detective with a monster can. She's tried to escape. She says she's Jewish now, tried to plead insanity. She is disgusting. And as far as people saying you can't do anything when something happens on the internet, you can. And I'm not picking on Critical K. I know some people were like, why do you keep bringing this up? I'm just letting people know that there are real judgments going out right now about what is done on YouTube, what is done on Facebook, what is done on Twitter. Last week in a Mississippi courtroom, a judge handed down a $500,000 judgment on Critical K for statements that she made about Ray Andrecchio on her channel. So don't think that if he files a civil suit against Zav, Natasha, and whoever else did it, he's not going to win. Because we have some precedents going through. We do. Ridiculous. All right, now we get to the Long Island serial killer, and it has been one thing after another. His family is back in the home, wife and kids. I don't think they're going to be there for long because his wife, soon to be ex, was outside screaming at reporters. I don't think they're going to be happy there for too long because they're lined all up and down that street. It is a crazy case for sure. Here are the victims. Amber, Melissa, Maureen, Megan. Maureen, he's a prime suspect in. I figured this week they would announce charges for the death of Maureen, but they didn't. They've put a lot out, and it seems now they're holding information in. And the press needs to get back to pressing and not bother his wife and kids. I don't see any good in that.
Latest on the Gilgo Beach murders. Tonight, the Suffolk County Sheriff shared some details on how suspect Rex Hewerman is spending his time in prison. He says that he's now able to get recreation time alone, make phone calls, and also receive mail. The sheriff also said that more women who are sex workers are coming forward.
So my staff is really going to vet these additional females to see if they actually did come in contact with him, and then see what that contact was and see if that can lead us in any other possible direction.
Hewerman is charged with killing 3 women and is a prime suspect in a 4th death. Yesterday, investigators wrapped up their 12-day search at his Massapequa Park home.
I think there's going to be more. I think there's going to be more. Atlantic City, South Carolina, Vegas. I think there's going to be more, and it seems like every day something else is coming out. Now, old Krusty, he can now get recreation. Woo! He's going to get all buffed up. Wonder if he's trading meat sticks in there like Murdaugh. Got his recreation going on. He's getting mail. I would love to know who is writing him letters, because I know a few YouTubers that'll do it, but don't think I'm going to waste a stamp on his crusty ass. No way. No way. So now we get to another crazy. Schabusiness. Schabusiness. A lot of you were glued to the trial this week. I couldn't really cover it too much because of the Dahmer feel of it, if you know what I mean. Her father even testified in court this week. It was a quick trial and it was a quick verdict. Schabusiness. Schabusiness. She is scary. And on meth or not, what she did was insane. Now, her father testified that she was infatuated with Jeffrey Dahmer. Now, if you remember her boyfriend, who is up in the corner, she dismembered him. You heard that right. She dismembered him. His head was found in the basement in a bucket. Some of his body parts were, they were all over the house. It's not like she had a surgical knife or anything. She was using stuff from around the kitchen. Stuff from around the kitchen. They found part of him in the crock pot. Now, I'm going to give you a trigger warning. I suggest you put her in a cell with Letitia. I think her and Letitia would get along great. I think they would get along great. She wanted his mom to find him. This is one of the testimonies from this week. If you need to take a break, I understand.
You mentioned observing the bucket. I guess where in the basement was that located?
As you go down the stairs, if you turn to the immediate right, it was at the bottom of the stairs to the right.
Was it in pretty close proximity to the stairs?
Yes.
After you made that observation, what did you do?
After I pulled the towel off,
Yes.
I had Officer Plunky come downstairs and just verify we had in fact found a human head in the bucket. And then we started to notify a supervisor and then ask for additional units.
I took the towel off, called someone else to verify there was a human head in the bucket. Schabusiness did that. She even laughed at the officers and said, "Good luck finding all of him."
And at that time, on February 23rd, 2022, did your department utilize body-worn cameras?
Yes.
Is that something that was operating on that day?
Yes.
And did you have the chance to review your body-worn camera prior to your testimony today?
Yes, I did.
If you were able to observe that here in court, would you be able to recognize it?
Yes, I'll be able to.
Okay.
Okay. Did you both see this? I opened the towel, I picked up the towel and dropped it because I don't know what the fuck it is, man. I had bad vision and she's like, is that what I think it is? I don't fucking know.
He said, "I don't know what the F it is. I don't know what the F it is." Hell, they found his thigh in a crock pot. I'm looking over at my crock pot right now and I'm about to barf.
What the fuck?
Do you want to stay with those two? I'll just come see you.
Where's it at?
So right there. Look right, there's a bucket with a towel on it.
Just keep that.
Dude, it is.
Come here. Hold on 1 second. Jeez.
Let's just. Okay. Hold on. Just. That's real, right?
That's real low.
Oh, I got 4 Ed 1 to 82 Sam. I know you're busy over there, but this is actually what it's going to be. It's not going to be a 961 thing or a 96 thing, so we're going to need more units here.
Okay. It's safe to say in way up north Wisconsin, this is not something they're used to coming across. All right? They take care of rowdy spectators at the Green Bay game. This is not something they're used to. The shock on their face is evident.
Is that what it's supposed to be? Was that Fred one? No, for right now. If we could get more units here sooner rather than later, that'd be appreciated. We've got quite a bit of blood down here. I want to clear this rest of this house. We've got 2 people in the house for sure.
And for the record, the entirety of Exhibit 2, approximately 5 minutes 59 seconds, was played. Officer, having reviewed the exhibit, do you recognize the video that was depicted?
Yes, I do.
Does that appear to be consistent with your body-worn camera footage that you observed?
Yes, it is.
And does that appear to also be consistent with your recollection of the scene on Stony Brook Lane on February 23rd?
Correct.
I'd move Exhibit 2.
Any objection?
No objection.
Exhibit 2 will be received.
So, officer, I want to ask a few questions about that. When you arrived, which door to the residence did you enter through?
It would have been the side door off the driveway.
Okay. And was there a sort of a storm door that was a part of that door as well?
Yes, I believe so.
After you observed the bucket, it appeared that you walked around the basement area of the residence. Is that right?
Yes, it did.
At that point, did you see any other parts of a human body?
No other parts of the human body, no.
Did you notice any areas of potential blood?
Yes.
And where was that?
Beyond the stack of mattresses, there appeared to be blood on the floor and then small chunks of human flesh.
In other areas of that basement, did you locate any obvious signs of blood?
There was a dried blood stain on the mattresses, and that was all that I remember seeing.
After you and Officer Plonky, was that the officer who is also depicted in that video?
Yes, it is.
Did other officers arrive on scene?
Yes.
And what did you and the other officers do at that point?
Sergeant Brester was next to arrive on scene. I kind of informed him of what we had up to this point and then what we needed to do next. We had 2 other officers responding. Once we got all the officers there that we needed, we conducted a protective sweep of the residence just to make sure there was no other people that we needed to know about, just to make sure that there was no other potential threats.
And you're the first officer to testify, so I'll ask you this because we've heard this term. What is a protective sweep?
It's not a search or anything like that. It's just a conducting a sweep of the house just to make sure there's no other people hiding or no other threats.
So essentially a search for people?
Yeah.
Other than the towel that you lifted off the bucket, was any object moved or rummaged through by officers?
Not the initial responding officers, no.
Okay. The evidence in this case will show that in the early morning of February 22nd of 2022, the defendant strangled her friend Shad Therian to death using a dog collar. That after he was dead, engaged in sexual acts with him, his body, subsequently dismembered him using kitchen knives found in the home. Over the next few days, in the first phase of trial, the state of Wisconsin, myself, District Attorney Lassay, will present a number of witnesses who will testify about what happened in this case, and that'll show and demonstrate to you that the defendant committed these acts.
And they did. It did not take the jury too long to make a decision, fill out the verdict forms. I mean, hell, it probably took them 5 minutes to decide and 25 minutes to fill out the verdict forms. This is crazy. Guilty all around. BTK loves to say all around. Guilty all around. It didn't take them too long at all.
From Brown County, our Green Bay affiliate reports a guilty verdict on all counts just came down in the Taylor Schabusiness murder trial. Schabusiness convicted of murdering and dismembering Shad Therian in February of last year. Jurors deliberated for just a little more than 30 minutes. No word yet on a date for sentencing.
And I'm going to guess that the sentence, because that judge wasn't screwing around with her, is going to be forever and a day. I was blown away when this case first came to me about a year ago. When I saw her mugshot, hell, I thought she was my age. Then I heard she was 25. And I'm like, what the hell? Hugs, not drugs, my friends. Hugs, not drugs. And there's no allegedly or suspected. The gavel came down. She was found guilty. Guilty. Now, I tell you what, I don't know what you would have to have in your system to take a human head off with a dull butter knife, but she must be pretty darn strong, is all I can say. This is disgusting. Disgusting. All right, now we get to it. And I'm going to do a complete show about this on Monday morning for Metabolism Monday. And we're also going to talk about it tomorrow because I'm heated, my friends. I'm heated. I'm so sick of the lies, the scams, the grifting from all the people involved in the Summer Wells case. Kathy, the friend, made her YouTube debut several months ago, talking about how she had lost contact with Candace and how Candace had gone back to Dawn. She'd gone back to Dawn. Well, that's not something that you would say about someone you're just hanging out with. That's your friend. No. Kathy also said that she took Candace to rehab. But Candace said she felt a little weird from the medications they were giving her. Well, they're not meant to be. It's not Melaleuca. They're not Red Bull energy drinks. They're so you don't have a seizure because they're getting you off of alcohol. So she goes and picks her up. Okay? Takes her back to her house. Candace winds up selling her the Suburban for like $1,000. They make an Amazon wish list together. Her granddaughter was seen sleeping on the couch in one of the videos that Candace made and later took down. And it has just become crazier and crazier. We now have two stories. We have two stories. One is that Kathy met Candace about 6 weeks before Summer disappeared. Either or, I wouldn't think that to be a big deal. She has also said she met Candace after Summer disappeared. Well, where'd you meet her? Did you jump in her inbox? And why would you do that? You've already heard the sheriff say everyone's a suspect. Kathy put this up. Not just mad, big mad. Need to talk about it? Question mark. I'll give you the link. Well, you put yourself out there, Kathy. You're the one that made the decision to get into a relationship with the suspect, one of the suspects in the Summer Wells case. You have put your Cash App up. You have an Amazon wish list. You had your granddaughter on the news showing the baggies, and she's a beautiful little girl. She was happy as a clam. She was happy. They were at the 2-year vigil. She just said she's so happy to do this. She said she can't show her face, but now she's on the evening news and she's on the show with her. Now, as we know, month and a half ago, Kathy had talked about in the Suburban that there was a memory box for Summer. Her own words were, she took it to her local law enforcement. Now, I can't say anything in there because I'm blocked. But I know several of you did that had your thinking caps on and said, well, now, why would they want that? Her local law enforcement, wouldn't Hawkins County want it? Or TBI? I mean, she goes all over the place camping. Why didn't she run it by the TBI? Well, it turns out she didn't. Because after Candace got back from Arkansas and went and spent a couple of days with Daisy, Daisy happened to put a picture up the other day. You had Candace with a black eye. God only knows what happened to her. People say, oh, Dawn beat her again. She probably got drunk and fell down. Okay? Just like her broken ribs and her broken ankle that healed in 2 days. V. Oakley says, am I blocked? I see you. I see you, V. Oakley. So anyway, Candace has the memory box and put this up. Talk about jarring. She's holding up Summer's jacket. Now, I don't run a Chinese laundromat or anything, but this looks freshly laundered. What do you think? She held up one of her t-shirts that were in the box. Slim said it's a different color. It looks pink to me. It looks pink and gray to me. What color are you seeing, Slim? Then she puts this up. Candace is peeking from behind it. This was on Justin's channel. Candace holding up a diaper bag. Supposedly it's Summer's diaper bag. Michelle said, Brooks, don't forget how fast her heart healed. Yeah, she doesn't need batteries anymore for her pacemaker. Just like her stroke cleared up really quick. You know how Dawn said her stroke was acting up. I said to Dawn, does her stroke act up when she's drunk or sober? Before we get to the clip, I'm going to put the link up for our friend Trev because it is Trev for the win. Trev gets the win. Okay? Trev, if you want to grab that, come on up. Because Trev had we don't do drama around here, but if we have to, we'll set someone straight. This is on, I'll tell you the channel in a second. Give me a minute. This is on Remember Me. They got a clip of this. Daisy is making excuses for childhood SA. Now, I don't understand if she's in the medical profession and she's a nurse, why she would be saying this is just like something kids do. Something kids do. Don't worry, we're going to get to Lion Kathy in a minute, and I've got a whole show I'm going to be getting ready over the weekend. Listen to, you might have to listen to this twice. Listen to how Trev defended SA victims. There's the man of the hour. Hello, Trev.
Good morning.
Now then, how heated were you when you had to hear a grown-ass woman say that Dawn was 12, he was a kid too? Now, let me tell you what. I'm going to say something right now, and I know it's not a popular opinion. If I had it my way, and if I was a prosecutor, I don't care how old they are, I would have the adults that were around for this SA in jail. I understand that in Utah that the statute has run out. But Daisy obviously doesn't understand that this behavior to forcing himself on minors carried on until he was almost 20.
Absolutely. You can't talk about victims that way, because there are people out there who are going to hear that may be close to speaking out about something. Victim shaming is not okay.
No, it's not. It's not. Now, we did hear that with Carly Russell. People said, they're like, you're victim shaming. You're racist. And I'm like, no, something doesn't add up.
No, she stole some Cheez-Its and toilet paper and went on a 2-day or however long little party. That's a little different. But when there's an actual victim who has spoken up, then you have to support that, because other victims will hear how you treat the story of a real victim.
So, I mean, what would Daisy, I know Daisy has said she's not going to, talk about Summer anymore. So, I mean, who's important when you have a true crime channel? Calling your sister a fat whore while you have Summer Wells tagged because people think you're there to talk about Summer Wells? What's important when you have a true crime channel?
In my mind, it'd be the victim of whatever crime or situation it is, because that's what matters.
So she put Summer in the title. Let me tell you something really nasty that happened. She had Michael Vaughn tagged in a case, a show. And everyone knows how I am about that case. And when Candace came in to chat, she creamed her jeans and said, "Oh, Candace, come up. Candace, come up." Untagged Michael Vaughn so she could talk to Candace.
Ridiculous. She had a show planned the other day for one of the bigger cases going on, and then canceled it because Candace was going to come on.
Candace needs to talk to Pruitt. They're still waiting on the timeline. Candace needs to talk to the TBI. She doesn't need to talk to Daisy.
Yeah, I wonder if TBI made a YouTube channel, if Candace would take the link there instead.
Oh. Good thought. Since they're YouTube stars, and I hate to tell Candace, but she's not that popular. I had someone in here arguing with me the other day, and they said, Candace has been trying to get jobs because of YouTube. She can't get a job. She's not that famous. She can unload boxes. She can sweep floors. She can mop. She doesn't want to. It's easier for her.
I'd like to know who's forcing her to be on YouTube. I hear all the time how YouTube is ruining their lives, yet I turn around and see them on YouTube all the time. Especially recently, Candace. If it's tearing her life apart, maybe don't involve yourself in it. If the fire's hot, maybe get away from it. I don't know.
Yeah. That's how I run my life. Now, what did you think about the big lie when Kathy said, I'm skipping around again. My mind's all over the place. When Kathy said she took the memory box to her local law enforcement. Now, we knew this didn't make any sense, and they'd be like, take it to Goodwill. What do you want me to do with it? This has nothing to do with us. So we knew that was a lie. And then when Candace popped up and said, she's got all the stuff. And let me tell you what, why are there hair bows in there when Summer was shaved bald?
Yeah, and then she was talking all about those hair ties. And see, the thing with Kathy having it, I don't, I'll speak for what I would have done in that situation. I can't speak for anybody else, but I would have gotten out of my hands. Whether law enforcement thought it was a big part of the case or not, I would have said, TBI, this is, stuff from a case. There's obviously a case that you're investigating, missing child. Please take this. If you want to drop it off at 110, do that. If you want to keep it for evidence, I don't care. But I want it out of my hands, because this is involved in an active Amber Alert investigation. I don't want it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not my kids, and it's not mine to have. This is a case that you guys, I don't want any part of it. Not because there's anything wrong with what's in the box, but because that's Summer stuff, and that's involved in a case. You don't want that on your hands or in your house or anything like that. I'd be like, here, take this, and then you guys are the ones investigating. You know what's important and what's not. Please do with it what you want.
Particularly the jacket that she had on the day she went missing. Come on.
Yep, I would have said, here's this. Do what you want. I don't want it.
All right, let's get to your exchange with Daisy, and then we'll be back to Kathy, because, the minute she came out, I about lost my mind. For one, when she admitted that Candace lived with her that whole time, I thought, why would anybody want Candace around their minor child? Again, we're going to get to that. I have a lot to say about it.
About what was done to her?
Exactly. Why didn't she speak up if she was that concerned about Summer?
Why didn't she speak up? She is a victim. She is standing up as a victim of sexual assault.
Okay,
You cannot tell a victim when it's time for them to speak up.
Well, why didn't she do it before? That's what I'd like to know. Before all this happened, if she was that concerned with it. I'm not saying it was right or it was wrong.
I had to stop it. Sorry. I planned to play it all the way through and then start it again. This is ridiculous. She did speak up. We're talking about Jeannie. They did speak up. The parents try to take care of it within the house. That's why I said, if I had any authority, I don't care how old and, Alzheimer's they are, I'd have their asses in jail for not protecting their kids. They did speak up. They called the TBI when they found out Summer was missing. Now, it became crazy.
Right, and what people did with it was what they did with it. But them speaking out about it is 100% within their right, because they're the ones who went through it. They can't help how people took it or covered it.
Great point. Now, what really chaps my ass, and basically for people that are in here that I know have been victims of SA, when Daisy said, I'm not saying it's right or it's wrong. How can it be right? There is a big difference between a 12-year-old in puberty that can perform acts and a 5-year-old. And it continued till he was 19.
Yeah, and when you say you don't know if it's right or wrong, then you're excusing it because there's no other choice except for saying it's wrong. It's very wrong. It's disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying it was right or it was wrong. I'm just saying
Well,
that
you're not saying it was wrong
wow.
for it. You're not saying it was wrong for her to be sexually assaulted, or not that it was wrong for her to speak up later.
Listen, Trevor. I agree she was, but they were both children. Both of them were children. They were not adults. This was a child situation. Yes.
Well,
and what if she was going to speak up? Why didn't she speak up before something happened? If she was that concerned,
why didn't she speak up about what was done to her?
Exactly. Why didn't she speak up if she was that concerned about Summer?
Why didn't she speak up? She is a victim. She is standing up as a victim of sexual assault. You cannot tell a victim when it's time for them to speak up.
Well, why didn't she do it before? That's what I'd like to know. Before all this happened, if she was that concerned with it. I'm not saying it was right or it was wrong. I'm just saying that
you're not saying it was wrong for it. You're not saying it was wrong for her to be sexually assaulted, or not that it was wrong for her to speak up later.
Don was a child along with Mary. They were both children. Now,
she doesn't even know the case, and that's what irritates me. I don't care who watches who. Sorry, I had to jump in again, and then we're going to listen to it again. Listen, she doesn't even know the case. We're not talking about Mary. We're talking about Jeannie. Jeannie was 5. And I don't know everything about every case. And a lot of times you guys will come in here and say, oh, no, that didn't happen, and you'll say, oh, did you see this, Brooks? And I'm like, oh, hang on, let me get that. But I'm going to know what victim I'm talking about. She doesn't even have that right. Did she ever clear up why Candace was telling people, not just one, but several, that her last cash grab, she had to give part of it to Daisy? Good luck getting that. Candace is not really good about doing anything on a handshake.
Doing right by people is not really her jam.
No. She didn't know who we're talking about Jeannie. She's like, oh, this is just crazy.
Think it was wrong for her to be sexually assaulted, or not that it was wrong for her to speak up later.
Don was a child along with Mary. They were both children. Now, if he would have been an adult, that would have been a different situation. But he was not. Don was a child. So was the other person.
Why did
Jeannie and Mary, I can't speak for Mary, but Jeannie has said that she didn't even know Don and Candace had a daughter. And when she found out they had a daughter who was 5, same age she was when she was attacked by Don, she called the TBI.
And like I told her, there would never have been a need for it. She's talking about them speaking out at whatever time. If it was never done to them, there wouldn't have been a need to speak out. Why tell the victim when tell the perpetrator not to do something, not the victim why they spoke out when they did?
I don't get it. She says, I'm not going to say it's right or wrong. Well, how can anything about it not be wrong? How can anything about it be right? Because, I mean, he was 12. It went on till he was 19. We've heard all of this. Why doesn't she freshen up on what she's talking about? She had Summer Wells tagged. And all she did was talk about her problems with her sister. That's all she did.
And imagine somebody wanted to find out about this case and looks it up and by the keywords or whatever, and that's the video you end up on. Like, you can't do that with a victim's name. People, it's like I was saying earlier, when I was in chat where you were playing this stuff with Gannon, and I was like, people trivialize these cases. They treat these kids like they're like movie characters. Like you can put them in a title and just do whatever you want with them, use their name to bring X, Y, and Z to your channel. These are real people, real victims. Summer is a real child. Gannon was a real child. I mean, these are humans, and you have to treat them as victims as they are, or leave it alone. They're not movie characters for your YouTube channel or something you can trivialize.
Not at all. What was the chat doing? Because obviously I go to bed early and I missed all this. I have to get caught up later. What was chat doing when this was going on? Were they
During this conversation?
Were they agreeing with her, or what was going on?
They were just coming after me. I was an entitled brat and a troublemaker. They were just, that's all that was going on in the chat.
Huh.
It was Trevor's an entitled brat. He was on here to interrupt a conversation about trafficking, and he was it just, yeah. And he's young. That was, of course, I was too young to, what was it, lift my leg to whiz. That was one of those in there.
And that was allowed. You're up there to defend a victim of SA. She should have been defended by her family, but that's in the rearview mirror, if you know what I mean. And
Right.
It seems to be a generational curse. And she's trying to defend Don. I've seen other creators defending Don, like his use of the N-word. They're like, oh, he has a hall pass. No, he doesn't. He's white.
And why do they have to? There's no reason to defend. You can't defend all these things, but I don't know why they think they have to. You can say that you think Summer was abducted, but what Don did to his stepsisters was very bad, and the language Don uses is bad, and things like that. But then you've got people like her who just decide that they have to defend everything. It's okay that he says this. It's okay that he did that because I think this. You can separate the things. You should not be able to say that these things were not bad. There's no defense for them. You want to have a different theory on Summer's case, okay, go for it. But you can't tell me that these other things that were done aren't bad.
No, it's horrific. It's horrific. Just like when he was talking about his own daughter, Margie. And he said that she was assaulted on her 18th birthday. He said, but she didn't cause any trouble for anybody. She just sucked it up and moved on, and he was proud of her. And they some of these people are okay with it.
Did she speak up about what was done to her?
Exactly. Why didn't she speak up if she was that concerned about Summer?
Why didn't she speak up? She is a victim. She is standing up as a victim of sexual assault.
Okay,
you cannot tell a victim when it's time for them to speak up.
Well, why didn't she do it before? That's what I'd like to know. Before all this happened, if she was that concerned with it. I'm not saying it was right or it was wrong. I'm just saying that
you're not saying it was wrong for it. You're not saying it was wrong for her to be sexually assaulted, or not that it was wrong for her to speak up later.
Listen, Trevor. I agree she was, but they were both children. Both of them were children. They were not adults. This was a child situation. Yes. And what if she was going to speak up? Why didn't she speak up before something happened? If she was that concerned,
why didn't she speak up about what was done to her?
Exactly. Why didn't she speak up if she was that concerned about Summer?
Why didn't she speak up? She is a victim. She is standing up as a victim of sexual assault. You cannot tell a victim when it's time for them to speak up.
Well, why didn't she do it before? That's what I'd like to know. Before all this happened, if she was that concerned with it. I'm not saying it was right or it was wrong. I'm just saying that
you're not saying it was wrong for it. You're not saying it was wrong for her to be sexually assaulted, or not that it was wrong for her to speak up later.
Don was a child along with Mary. They were both children. Now, if he would have been an adult, that would have been a different situation. But he was not. Don was a child. So was the other person.
I would love to know, which I'll never know because there's laws against this, how many victims were under Daisy's care when she was a nurse, because this scares the hell out of me. She's a nurse. Well, why didn't she speak out before? Why didn't she speak out before? I guarantee Angel's about to come out of her skin because she's a patient advocate. You think someone presents themselves and they're trying to tell their doctor this is what's going on? Why didn't you say something before? Why are you just bringing this up now if you were so concerned about it? Why didn't you say something before? Why didn't you say something before?
I'd like to know what she thinks is a good time to speak up about something like that. When you've been through something like that, when is a good time to talk about it? Because that doesn't exist. There's no good time to talk about it, whether you say it a day later, a year later, 10 years later. There's no good time or right time, because you should never have to have gone through it to ever have to speak up about it. There's no good time to talk about it or right time.
Some people are hushed up within the family. The family's going to take care of it. I don't agree with that. I think Don Sr. should be in jail for allowing this crap to go on in his home, but the statutes run out. Some people get on with their lives and they live with the shame. They go into drinking, they go into drugs, they cut themselves, they do all kinds of things just to get rid of what happened to them. They want their mind to go to another place. But you're telling me this medical professional, this nurse, well, why didn't they say something before if they were concerned? This is disgusting. This is disgusting. I don't talk about other creators, but when I heard this, I went from 0 to 100. I don't know how you kept it together, Trev.
Whew. It was hard, but it's, start yelling, then people tune you out. So I was trying my best to just get the, and I knew I was going to be kicked off soon anyway. I had to get all everything I was going to say in quick because I was going to get the boot.
Jeannie didn't even know Summer Wells existed. When she heard that Summer Wells was missing and realized that her brother and her predator are Summer's father, one and the same, she got a hold of the TBI. This is disgusting.
The mindset is just, it's dangerous. I mean, I know I keep saying it, but it's like Jeannie and Mary may never see that video or hear what she said, but other people who watch, who are victims, hear that. And what if that keeps someone from speaking out because they know there's people out there who go, why didn't you speak out earlier? That's not okay. When you have a platform, you have to be responsible. And if you're a true crime creator and you're covering victims, you have to be responsible in the fact that you are pro-victim. No matter your theory on cases, you have to support victims. And if you don't, I'm sorry, you don't belong covering true crime.
No, you're exactly right. And this is freaking disgusting. Why didn't she say something before? That's what I want to know. That's what I want to know. And I hope Jeannie doesn't hear this. And I didn't like when the whole Jeannie and Mary thing was going on because I felt like it was taking the focus off of Summer. Well, then here comes Dawn and Candace, and they were like, hold my beer. And they took the focus totally off of Summer. Totally off of Summer. Now we get back to Kathy. Kathy has a gift to give, and it's called the truth. While she was spooning Candace and toasting marshmallows, roasting weenies, and all the stuff they were doing together, why didn't she ever, with all their camping trips, kayaking, why did she not ever tell her, call the FBI? She's like, oh, we hung flyers. Where? You see, this is an inappropriate relationship because Candace Wells is a married woman. And trust me, I am not taking up for Dawn's honor. Why was Candace not at her house, staying there looking for her daughter? No, she was off with her buddy. Now, according to Kathy, There was no alcohol. No alcohol. Well, people who know Kathy are saying she drinks all the time too. And don't let the mask fool you. No doctor, if you have asthma or COPD, is going to tell you to keep a mask on. No, they're not. Does anybody in here have asthma or COPD? I don't want to know your health problems. I don't want to know. Don't give too much up. But who has been told to wear a mask when you have breathing difficulties? Why would you? And who the hell with breathing difficulties would go on all these camping trips with all the pollen and the allergens? And she's like, my house is dusty. Clean it. Clean the bitch.
Get the Swiffer out.
Yeah. Hang on, Connie, hang on. Dolores says, I have asthma and the doctor said masks are harmful for me. Connie says, nope, my doctor said not to wear a mask. I have asthma. Karma Libra said, no. We had someone in earlier today that says, I have COPD, and even during COVID time was told, do not put that mask on.
If I remember right, during COVID, and I could be wrong, I'd have to go look it back up, but even then it was like if you keep a mask on all the time, there's bacteria that grows and you're not supposed to keep it on for too long without pulling down and taking a breath because when you keep breathing out, it's not good for you to build up there either, whether you have a breathing problem or not.
Yeah, you shouldn't do it. I don't get it. And she takes can't camping all the time, but can't is scared of bears, snakes. What do you think you see? You're out in the wilderness when you're camping. Kathy, you've been caught. Wait till the show on Monday for Metabolism Monday.
Woo-hoo.
It's going to be lit because I'm furious. All right, this is on When Evil Entered. I'm going to put the link up.
I don't give a shit about your daughter.
Okay, this is a conversation between Ernie, Kathy, and Can't, or as Can't calls him, Earn the Burn.
Can we just appreciate the little setup here, the display?
Oh, this is great. This video is great. Earn the Burn. And Ern's getting real pissed. And Kathy, she's got her hooks in Can't. She doesn't want her talking to Earn the Burn at all. She got her off of YouTube. They had camping to do. They had spooning to do. They had a lot going on.
Well, I do give a shit about my daughter. It's fucking Ernie.
Oh, she's talking to Kathy the liar. I do give a shit about my daughter. It's effing Ernie. It's effing Ernie. Well, you answered the phone.
Oh my God. Why the fuck are you talking about? Stop yelling, please. No, fuck you, Ernie. Please stop yelling. Please stop yelling. I love you. Please stop yelling.
Okay, so that's Can't talking to Kathy. I love you. Please stop yelling. Okay, now when I hang up with my girlfriends, I will say, love ya, have a good day, but I don't mean it that way. And I don't care which way anyone swings. I'm just letting you know. that they had a relationship that was a little more than s'mores and weenies by the fire. I don't think there was any weenies involved in their relationship at all.
There's no weenies in this one.
Unless there was a buzz sound in it and is plastic. Okay? No. Vibrators. Okay? There's no weenies at their cookout. And again, however you're wired, not my business. I don't care. But Kathy, come on.
Please just stop going.
I ain't got nothing against it. I mean, it's whatever. I mean, like I said, you know.
But I feel like you played me, though.
How'd I play you? Did I get anything from you? No, I didn't.
No, I didn't say that. That's not what I said.
How did I play you?
But, well, because I feel like every time we talk, which should be personal talk, it goes out on the internet.
Oh, shots fired. Every time we talk, earn the burn. It should just be personal talk, but it goes out on the internet. Fool me once, shame on earn the burn. Shame me 1450 times, you're an idiot, can't. And then you hear Kathy in the back screaming like a banshee, I love you, get off the phone.
You were supposed to came out and talked about it. They would have. You could have turned everybody to your side. You could have turned everybody to your side.
Your standard time. Not on my standard time.
She's such an idiot. You could have turned everybody to your side. She goes, not on my standard times. Hell, she worked for the world clock. What is she talking about? Not on my standard times.
She's got to replace the batteries.
Oh my gosh.
Your daughter's been gone 10 months.
No shit.
Well, when was your standard time? When is your standard time, Candace?
I already know.
When is your standard time?
Well, you know, it takes a lot of me to go public with a lot of that problem. Like,
it takes a lot for me to go public with a lot of that problem. Who's the problem? Because I don't see Summer as the problem. She says with a lot of that problem.
I can't comprehend that shit. Like, it's easy for you to go up online and fucking, hey, I do this and I do that. It's easy for you, but it's not easy for me.
It's easy for me to do it, Candace, because I'm real and I really do care. I wanted to bring your daughter home.
Yeah, you don't think I fucking know?
Let me ask you a question. Do you think BK wants your daughter home?
No, he don't. He don't give a fuck less. Benny Keys don't give a fuck about nobody but himself.
Let me ask you a question. When is your time? When you going to tell everybody what happened?
Man, okay, look. Give me 2 days, and me and you are going to go live. And we're going to talk. Give me 2 days.
I'll give you 2 days. I need to rest anyways.
Give me 2 days. Yeah, you need to after I see what happened.
Well, you be good. Get out of here. Go get rest. 2 days.
2 days, bro.
2 days. Well, I'm giving you 2 days and we'll go live. 2 days. I'm scheduling it right now. What do you want me to say?
Hey, Ernie. Just talk. Don't show your face. I know, show my face. Look, hey Ernie, I'm telling you right now, quit fucking with her.
She called.
Oh, now it's getting heated. Here comes Kathy on the phone to defend her woman. Quit effing with her. She called me. But then you hear a lying can't. It's effing Ernie, like Ernie's bothering her. This is gold. Thank you when evil entered.
Hey Ernie, just talk. Don't show your face. I don't show my face. Look, hey Ernie, I'm telling you right now, quit fucking with her.
She called me. She called me. She called me.
Well, all right. Well, if she called you, that's only because, like, you know, she's pissed that everybody keeps on fucking doing what the fuck they're doing. They're like making up fucking bullshit, and it's bullshit, man. You don't make up fucking shit, fucking back your fucking ass up. You know, it's like, come on. It gets old, and it's frustrating, and it's bullshit. I'm just telling you right now, man.
Right.
It's fucking bullshit. And I don't give a fuck what nobody thinks. If it's your fucking daughter and your daughter was motherfucking missing, you wouldn't want a bunch of people making up fucking bullshit about you.
No, but my ass will be out there trying to find and do everything they can to do it.
Yeah.
Woo! Feel the burn, earn the burn. Ernie goes, and no, I'd be out there doing everything I can to try to find my daughter. I think actually some people think I'm crazy. I think with her little crush on Ernie, I think he was close. If he had taken one for the team, I think he was close to finding out.
I think she almost told him. I think it was close too.
Mm-hmm.
Go back and listen to the way that the conversations went. I think she was, I don't know how close, but I think she was getting closer to telling him. I think she would have eventually, possibly.
Yeah, but Kathy got in the way. And I'm very furious about that. Kathy should have left her to her own devices because Candace cannot be left alone. She would have eventually caved. She's extremely codependent. Kathy is drunk as a skunk. She is drunk. She can't put anything together. She can't. You wouldn't want all this bullshit. Well, I know that. He just said she called me. You hear Candace, I love you. I love you. I want extra cheese on my taco. I mean, your taco.
What nobody thinks, if it's your fucking daughter and your daughter was motherfucking missing, you wouldn't want a bunch of people making up fucking bullshit about you.
No, but my ass will be out there trying to find and do everything they can to do it.
Yeah, well, look. You know, they've told her she can and she can't do it.
Who said that?
That's what people don't fucking everybody has said that. Hawkins County said you can't go do this, you can't do this. You need to fucking listen. It ain't as easy as like getting up about going out. You don't know what the fuck Dawn did.
Oh, here we go again. Blaming Dawn that doesn't even know there's a love triangle going on. My God. You don't know. It says dog, but she's like, you don't know what the F Dawn did because she is putting everything on Dawn while she is in the throes of passion with Kathy. It's very easy to put this together.
So many excuses. It's crazy. They won't let me do this. They won't let me do that. It took you 13 days to go on the news, Candace. Explain that.
Hawkins County cannot tell them to not go look on their own damn land or put up flyers. They can't. Let me tell you something. In the case of Michael Vaughn, things were getting real heated. And they said, yes, absolutely go search, but we're going to have a deputy with you. We don't want anyone hurt. So they had a deputy with Tyler. They had a deputy with Brandi. Shit, almost called her Candace. They had deputies with them. But nobody's gonna cater them around their own backyard. This is their land.
No, and there's also a lot of things you can do besides searching too. Say they weren't going to go search. Well, because I know people talk about the terrain and all that. So say Candace wasn't going to go physically search. You go put up flyers. You make phone calls. You go on the news. If you would have called and said, "Can I have a camera here from WJHL?" They would have been there as soon as they could on top of that hill waiting for you. But you waited 13 days to go on the news. For what reason?
Wouldn't take me 13 days because that was one of my red flags at first. When I saw the first TBI conference, I didn't see a mother, a father, any representative from the family. And trust me, nobody told them that they couldn't be there. One big thing, if they believe a child might have been abducted, they want the mother on camera. It can pull at an abductor's heartstrings.
Oh yeah, and anybody would be tuning in that had any information, even if it was just a witness of something. Those are the kind of things that people would go, geez, I did think I saw that, and man, that mom is really just heartbroken. I need to tell them that I saw X, Y, and Z today. But she didn't. And see, if it was me, it would have been as soon as I was done talking to the police, because they show up and you have to deal with that first. As soon as that's over, I'm putting my face in front of a camera. Because what's more important? The police they've got their information, they're going to do their work. Now you do your part and make your plea, because you're convinced she was abducted. Not my words, theirs. The Wells have said they were just convinced, or sure, whatever word you want to use, she was taken. Why not go on camera as soon as you could?
I'll never understand it. There's other parents of, children that have missing children that are not guilty. They have nothing to do with their child's disappearance. And after a sleepless night, as soon as they have a press conference, they're right there. They're right there. 13 days.
It doesn't take long either, because things can be replayed. You go on for just a 10-minute interview, 10, 15 minutes, whatever. And then it gets played everywhere. And you do it there and it gets played locally, and then it gets sent out, and suddenly it's on big news station that's moving around. It's not like you have to sit on camera for 8 hours. Go make a 10, 15-minute interview or plea to the abductor, whatever you're doing on there. Make your cry, make your plea, and then it gets pushed all around. But if you wait 13 days, they've got nothing to push around and to display of you talking about it.
You want their name out there. That's what you want. You want your child home. And her and Kathy are drunk as a skunk. How come Kathy isn't coughing? Why is she not clearing her throat? When you get drunk, the COPD and asthma and all those lung infections go away?
They've told her she can and she can't do it.
Who said that?
That's what people don't fucking everybody has said that. Hawkins County said you can't go do this, you can't do this. You need to fucking listen. It ain't as easy as getting up and going out. You don't know what the fuck Dawn did. Her and I was talking. Who in the fuck knows what the fuck he didn't do? Have something with her, whatever. It doesn't really.
I know Dawn's responsible.
That's one part of it. Candace is starting to look at my messages, so I'll hold off on a little bit.
Well, and that's a good ploy to play by saying, look, I know Dawn's responsible, but you need to tell me what happened. Well, she's not going to, because if Dawn's responsible, Dawn's in jail. A lot of people thought with Dawn in jail, she would feel comfortable enough to say what happened that day, but we saw what she did. She hung out with Kathy. That's it. That's what she did. Now let's look at the next time that Can't came across Ernie. This is on Daisy's channel.
But yeah, it's insinuating. Is that Ernie?
Yeah, that's Ernie.
Yeah, that's Ernie. Okay, come up, Ernie, if you want to.
Yeah, he needs to come up and say hi, the old stranger.
Get up here, Ernie. Everybody's saying that you ditched me the other day when you come up here. which I know Ernie's in and out all the time. So Ernie don't have
Yeah, he ditches everybody.
He does.
Been trying to call him for weeks. He freaking won't even answer his phone.
I know. Ernie's just Ernie.
Unless he wants to be mean to me. Then I'll send me a message.
But yeah, I mean, he's more than welcome. Don B, if you want to come up here and you got things to say, well, you need to come up here and apologize to Candace. This is your chance to make things right. There's Ernie on.
I'd like to talk to Don.
Hey.
Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing?
Pretty good.
Well,
Do you remember me, Ernie?
I do remember you.
Okay.
We got lips up here.
Okay.
Hey, stranger.
How you doing?
I'm doing all right. How you doing?
Oh my God, is that Candace?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Candace, you looking pretty good today.
I'm trying my best.
Her
That's
hair's
good.
all long and stuff.
She's doing good, Ernie. She's doing real
Looks
good.
like you straightened right up and got your headphones set on. Lord.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Living
good.
the good life.
I love you,
good.
Jinky.
That's her new nickname, Can.
Tin
Well,
Tin.
what's
That's
today's
what we call
conversation
Ben
about,
Gilroy.
y'all?
We don't
Don
call
B's
him
making
Don B and his bull crap.
He's making T-shirts with Summer's name on it and selling it. This right here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why would he do that? He ain't got no reason to be doing that.
Well, right.
He's supposed to be doing that.
And he's the one that's been stalking.
Yo, stranger. Now, Trev, I don't know how your girl game is, but when you come across, a lady that you would like to take out on a date, do you say, "Look at you, you got all straightened out. You got a headset on."
Yes, that's not my go-to. Do have a few of the pickup lines, but that's not on the list.
Now, if a girl came across you haven't seen in a while and she said, "Get over here, you old stranger," would you be like, obviously a lot's gone on since high school?
See, I think my mom's calling. I do gotta take this call, but
got other stuff going on, let me tell you. All right, this has been quite a show. I love when we can do a week in review. I know it's kind of confusing because people come in and out. People have other stuff to do. You're at work, stuff around the house, and all that stuff. I did see a comment that said false accusations won't help Summer. We have said over and over and over on this show, we don't know what happened that day, but we stand with law enforcement that says they can't rule out foul play. So let's take a second to remember our missing children, please. We're going to start with Monkey Vaughn.
What is that, monkey? Bear. What is that? Hi.
Hi there.
Hi, bear. Hi, baby.
All right, where'd you go? Oh, he went back the other way.
Hi, Dad.
Heartbreaking. Now, Summer Wells, who is missing. Gannon Stauch, who is not missing, but his family and his memory continue to be terrorized, and it just cannot happen anymore.
Don't you see him trying to climb a mountain here? Don't you see him trying to climb a mountain here? Don't you see him trying to climb a mountain here? Don't you see him trying to climb a mountain here? Don't you see I'm trying to climb a mountain here?
Well, I think they're all climbing their mountains now, and we're going to continue the good fight and stay on the right side. Okay? That's just how we do it around here. Works better for me when I sleep at night, you know, my heart. And I appreciate you guys being here today. I know it was a hard show and a lot of stuff to digest, and some of it was like, woo, I don't think I want to see that. Let's give a round of applause to Trev for standing up for victims of SA when he had a creator saying, well, why didn't they say something before? Great job, Trev. I was so proud of you. I mean, you're not my son, but if you were, I'd have been like, I'm taking you to Sonic. You're going to get whatever flavor of slushy you want.
Thank you. And I appreciate it. And thank you for all you do and standing for the victims. You do great work, and that's why we get along and can do shows like this, because you're always on the right side, and we're going to continue standing for victims even through all the BS and the craziness out here.
Yep. Save the drama for your mama, if you know what I mean. All right, you guys have a great rest of your Friday. I will see you back here tomorrow for a members live. We have some things to go through. We're doing Metabolism Monday on Monday. Don't want to miss that. Thank you, mods. I know we had a couple of problems in here, and you guys always keep it clean and keep it classy. And I say it every day, and I mean it every day. You are the best chat and best community on YouTube. I'll see you in Discord, the community tab, one of the Facebook groups. If I miss you there, I'll see you tomorrow.